So this morning I clicked onto TikTok and I saw this video and it basically had a list from 2002, so only last year, of all the UK schools that have had any SA reported in them at all. Now, one of the biggest surprises is that there are numerous, hundreds, thousands of primary schools. So don't just think this is a college campus or a high school thing. It's not. One of the things that really disturbs me is that in the last 2 years, I've had numerous parents tell me about instances in schools. Now, I hate to do victim blaming, parent blaming or anything like that, and this is not what this is about. Well, one of the curious things I find is that quite often when something happens in school, no one actually, like parents don't actually take it any further. I'm really curious as to know why. Now, if your child is being bullied in any way, shape or form and the school is not doing anything about it, you have every right to make a formal complaint. It's very easy to do. There's no way that a school can stop you from doing that. And if they do, they are breaching your freedom to act. And there is so much information out there if you need the support, and it actually doesn't take a hell of a lot of time. Once you've done the initial complaints procedure, if nothing has happened outside of that, there are lots and lots of options. I have done videos about this in the past. And this is an issue I find very despicable, that there should be anything like SA going on in any school whatsoever. Now, is this something that puts fear into people? Do you think it's going to be really time consuming to change schools, or to make a complaint, or to make the complaint, get to the final stage and then think, well, maybe we don't have a leg to stand on, and don't take it any further? There are so many resources out there. There are so many websites, so many things, even on your school's website. Now, in the UK, as I've said in previous videos, there are many bodies that try to help. Now, it's quite a daunting thing, I know. But the thing is that the more complaints that come in, the more it raises awareness. And the most important thing is, if there is neglect or negligence in the school or educational institution of any form, then the more complaints that come in, official complaints that come in, are on the record. They're indelible. They shouldn't be removed or anything like that. And what it does is that all those complaints then start building up, and people start to listen. Because the more, and communicate with other parents as well. Like, don't just hold these things in. Tell people about it. Speak up about it. Tell the police. Tell the single point of access, also known as SPAR. I'll give you as many links as I possibly can for people in the UK. Obviously, if you come from anywhere else in the world, you'll need to do your own research on what those local services are. But please take it very seriously, because this is not something to joke about. Now, we're talking about various different things can be included. Now, SA in schools is titled under what's it called? It's titled Under Bullying. Now, the thing is, quite often people think, oh, well, is sending a picture or saying something of a sexual nature a sexual assault or a sexual harassment? Yes, it absolutely is. It doesn't matter what age the perpetrator or the victim is. At the end of the day, they should be protected at all costs. So if you're being told, oh no, we can't classify it as SA or anything of that sort, then you need to do something about that. You need to educate people, because if this is disturbing a child, because you don't know what effect this is going to have on a child in years to come, or a young person in years to come. You just don't know, because trauma has a way of being able to store itself. So even if that child doesn't react to it at that time as much as you would have thought, it can always come out later on. It really can. And take this from someone who has experienced SA. It's not nice. It makes you feel very isolated. And if the people who are supposed to protect you are not protecting you, it makes you have this feeling of basically no one cares, no one's going to stick up for you, and there's no point in saying anything, which means it impacts the problem, which also means that the person who's doing it isn't being told it's wrong. And that is a massive, massive problem, that if the person who's doing it doesn't get any punishment, doesn't get any, what's the word? Yeah, if they don't have any consequences, if the perpetrator doesn't have any consequences, they're not going to know they're doing something wrong. And there could be other aspects to this which aren't being addressed. For example, if the perpetrator themselves are going through abuse or neglect, it won't be picked up if you don't make your complaints. Bullies and people who perpetrate SA or SH are usually people who are being ignored or abused, you know, on any sort of level. And that is a very important thing, that not, especially if it's a small child, you've got to make sure that they understand what they're doing is wrong and it's very, very harmful. If that is ignored, this child could go on to do things later on in life, and things could get much, much worse, as I'm sure you probably already understand. Now, I know this video has been very, very long and probably a little bit stunted at certain points, but this message is so important. I ask all of you, if you can do me a special favour, if you have got stories where you have made an official complaint about bullying of any type, it doesn't just have to be SH or SA, if you have any stories, horror stories of schools where they have neglected the needs of children or young people, please can you send me an email? So it's mumnonymous@outlook.com. So Mumnonymous spelt MUMNONYMOUS @outlook.com. Please send me all your stories, because the more stories I get, the more content I can do. And I will be doing a study on this, because I'm very interested to know how many people actually take it further and what they felt after they had made their complaints. I don't want to hear about cases where you haven't reported it. The only times I would like to hear about that is if there was a reason or specific reasons why you didn't want to take it further, then please do email me. If you know people who would be interested in submitting a story, please share this as far and as wide as you can. It is so important to get this information out there, and I'd really like to help you. So thank you so much for listening. I really hope that we get to the bottom of this. Thank you. Bye-bye.